Joining us now is Kerry Picket of the Washington Times, who continues to get scoop after scoop from the FBI, and this one is a heck of a scoop. Christopher Wray, apparently, you tell me, Kerry Picket, but it certainly appears as though he was at the very least less than forthcoming when he was testifying about the targeting of traditional Latin Catholics for investigation. Unpack this for us, because if I remember right, his testimony, he really downplayed this. He said, oh, there was one memo, and no one really acted on it, and it really didn't, none of this ever really happened. But is that the truth?
No, not really. In fact, what you had here, Larry, this was the Biden-era FBI. They concealed the extent of its anti-Catholic, and I like to call it operation, that then FBI Director Christopher Wray told Congress was limited to, as you mentioned, one single 2023 memo. But in fact, it turned out to be at least two memos. And then there were many documents that had lots of information about how they wanted to essentially go undercover to many different parishes across the country, to different cities, and it turned out that they were referring to lots of Catholics as, quote, radical traditionalist Catholics. But Mr. Wray and other FBI top officials characterized it, as you just said, as a one-off memo.
I am really fascinated by this, Kerry, and you write in here that in his testimony, Christopher Wray, before the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, he said that he was aghast when he first learned about the memo, and that the Bureau took steps immediately to withdraw it and remove it from FBI systems. Was he really aghast, or it sounds like he knew about this?
Oh, it's more than likely that he knew about it, because, and I'm glad that you pointed out to having it removed, because keep in mind, when they first put it out there, it was only just days thereafter, because essentially you had about 1,000 FBI employees who ended up having it distributed to. Then a whistleblower ended up revealing it to the whole world just about 6 days later. And so it was one of those things where he was basically, they ended up saying, okay, wait, hold on a second. They ended up finding out about that one memo. Pull down the other memo.
Right.
Get rid of it. Get rid of the evidence. They wanted to make sure that nobody knew about it. And the thing about it, though, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, finish your thought, and then I'll jump in.
No, but then what ended up happening, though, was that all these memos and all this information, they were being relied upon by the Southern Poverty Law Center, as well as the Atlantic, as well as Salon.
So they're using, so this is the FBI under Joe Biden. And by the way, we've already learned, Tulsi Gabbard has released a memo that shows that the Biden administration was empowering the FBI to investigate people over their, and I'm quoting now, non-criminal activities. So specifically saying, listen, we want the FBI to look at people based on the things that they do, like go to traditional Latin Mass. That's not criminal, but it might be a pattern of behavior that may lead to criminal behavior. It's like, this is Stalin-esque behavior is what it is. But Chuck Grassley, the chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, he said in releasing a lot of this information yesterday, Kerry Picket, and you make note of it in your article at the Washington Times, that he said it appears as though Christopher Wray lied to us. Those are strong words. Yeah. Is the senator going to do something about it? Last I checked, that's against the law. Last I checked, people go to jail for perjuring themselves, especially when they're the director of the FBI.
Well, that is going to have to be up to the Justice Department ultimately. Keep in mind that the special agent in charge over in Richmond is still, back in 2023, is still at it's still in charge basically over in Richmond right now. Even though that particular SAC supposedly made amends with the Catholic community in that area, let's see how far that actually went. I'd like to point out to both of you that there's a lot of special agents in charge who got promoted during the Ray era, and people don't know who they are right now.
Wow.
And the problem here right now is that people are wondering, well, why did they get promoted at the last second, and why are they still getting promoted? So there's lots of consternation going on right now over at the Bureau, and people want to know what's going on there. I'd like to point out, by the way, to both of you, that some people are also wondering with this report that they're saying, oh, well, it's just some memo that just went out and nobody acted on anything. There is a email within Grassley's report that showed that the field office over in Buffalo, New York, told other FBI officials in an email that two Catholic groups, quote, included in the Richmond Domain Perspective, that was the Catholic memo, and they said that, hey, we're going to act on this. We're going to actually do something with this. So if they did it, then more than likely other areas of the country where there were FBI field offices more than likely did it as well. So they want to know who accessed this memo, and they want to know what exactly went on after this memo went out. And right now, Grassley is still looking.
Lord knows Kash Patel has his hands full, but it does look like he's got some support there in the Grassley office, and my guess is the Jordan office over in the House. Kerry Picket, always great work, as usual, at the Washington Times. Thank you for joining us.